All right, guys, hopefully you've tried these or attempted these. Let's go ahead and work these out. I'm going to hopefully show you, hey, here's the way you can do this. But then some of these are some little shortcuts that you can learn just by paying attention, like actually thinking about what's happening here. So this first one is a great example of how paying attention and really thinking can help you find the answer to this. Notice that if we just set it up the way I just taught you, right? 5 over 5, 7 over x. 5 over 5 equals 7 over x. And let's say you're not thinking, right? Let's say you're not thinking. You're just following what you learned, right? You go, oh, 7 times 5, 35. 5 times x. Now, some of you that are thinking, you're going, wait a minute, hold up. I think I know the answer already. In fact, some of you, as soon as you saw it, you knew the answer. That's because you're thinking. That's good. 5 times x, 5x equals, divide both sides by 5. We get x equals 7. And then, okay, 7. Hold up, wait a minute. Now, you may not have been thinking earlier, but are you thinking now? If these are proportional to these, and they're going to make the same ratio, if it's the same number here and here, it would have to be the same number there and there. I mean, you could have saved yourself all of this and gone, well, if this is 5 and this is 5 and this is 7, that would have to be 7. The only way that this could be equal to this is if this is also 7, making this a ratio of 1, just like this is a ratio of 1. Does that make sense? Okay. And if you see those things, go for it, and if you're confident. This one here, same thing. Now, if you're thinking, you may go, I bet this is 10. Now, if you're not thinking, you go, how do you get that? Look at the numbers. 18, half of 18 is 9. So if this is going to be the same ratio, this one would also have to be half of this one. Is that starting to make a little bit of sense? But even if you don't see that, you go, okay, I don't see that. Well, go ahead and set it up like normal. 20 over x equals 18 over 9. And even if you don't see that, you can simplify this. You could cross multiply. If you do see, you can simplify it. You can go like this. Okay, 20 times 1 is 20. 2 times x is 2x. Divide by 2. You're going to get that answer even if you just follow the pattern, right? But if you do see something like that, go for it. Same thing here. All I know, this kind of matches this situation over here. So all I know is that whatever this number is, it's the same number here. Now, I have this triangle on the top. Okay, and I'm going to sit it right here. It's drawn a little imperfectly. There, and X. And then I have the triangle on, let's use orange. Let's put it right there. Now, all I know is that this side, whatever this side is, it's 2 of those now. So if this was 7, this whole thing would be 14. It's just double, right? Because there's 2 of them. 1, 2. Same thing on this side. There's 1 of those. Whatever that number is, there's 2 of them down here. It's double. Okay, and I don't know what the numbers are, so I'm going to scribble those back out. But I know it's double. Well, that means that this must also be it should be the same situation, right? So they're wanting you to see that when we're talking about these little segments on the side, those are parts of a triangle. Whereas if you're looking at the actual parallel side, it's half. And I think that if you go back to the notes, it talks about that. If these are equal, then this is half. But I'm not too worried that you're picking up on that. I think they call it a mid segment, and I don't even think I included it in the notes. Yeah, I didn't include it in here. If these connect midpoints, this is a mid segment, and a mid segment's half the length of that side, but that's not really overly important for you. We've talked about those things before in a previous chapter, the different segments of a triangle, but no, you don't have to worry about that. Just make sure that you're paying attention to what we know now, and you'll be able to get this. Half of 35 would be 17.5. And that's the answer to that question. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the next three. Hopefully you've tried these already. Same thing here. You can go, if you're not sure, you can set up your ratio x over 24, 10 over 30. Notice I went x over 24 means I had to do 10 over 30. If I would have done 24 over x, it would have been 30 over 10, and that would give you the same answer. I'm noticing, because I'm thinking, this is a third of it. 30 divided by 3 is 10. So 24 divided by 3 should be the answer to this one, right? 24 divided by 3 is 8. That's 8. But in case you don't see it, I can simplify this, cross multiply, 1 times 24, x times 3, divide both sides by 3, and you get 8. Either way you go. All right, now this one's a little bit more difficult because you go, well, wait a minute. What's actually going on here? And I'm not just going to think my way through it and do some mental math on this one. I'm going to have to set something up. So on this side, if I do set it up, x over x plus 12 equals, okay, so I did the top piece. So on the top, on this other fraction, I need to do 11, but it's not going to be over 33. Because notice in the denominator, I just had just this bottom part. So in the denominator, I just need to have the bottom part. Well, I don't have that. Well, if the whole thing is 33 and this much of it's 11, would I just subtract 22? Okay. So they're throwing this one in on purpose to make sure that you know it's the segments that have been divided out that we're going to set up that proportion with. All right. So 11 over 22, those cancel. 1 over 2, cross multiply. 2 times x is 2x. 1 times x plus 12 is x plus 12. And subtract x from both sides. I'm not going to subtract 12. I'm going to subtract the x. And we get on this side just 12. 2x minus one of those x's is just x. X equals 12. So there's those two answers. Last question. X over x plus 10. 10 over 30. Again, if I would have done x plus 10 over x, I would have to have done 30 over 10. 10 times, oh, let's simplify here. 1, 3, that'll make it easier. 1 times x plus 10, x times 3. Again, with this one, I'm not going to subtract the 10 because there's no number over here. I'm going to subtract my x. On this side, x minus x is gone. I have 10 equals 3x minus an x is 2x. And then divide by 2. X equals 5. All right, so there you go. There's those exercises. Hopefully that you had those right. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Let's move on to the next section. There's a little bit more notes here. Not dealing with triangles, but still dealing with parallel lines. So let's look at that part next.